Okay, welcome to the regular meeting council update from the May 23rd meeting. Rip through this one pretty quick. The rec facilities bylaw, this is a bylaw that we actually never ever had before in High River, so Lisa and Craig did an excellent job of putting this together. What it does is just standardizes the procedures and provides consistency so that all the user groups understand what the rules are, who has priority, one group over another, and why things might get shuffled around during tournaments and these kinds of things when we need to book. I'm talking about the rec center primarily. There's many user groups that use these facilities, so this just makes it clear for staff and for the public as to why certain decisions are being made and so that they're consistent going forward. So fantastic job. It's a ton of work putting these things together. So Lisa Reiners and Craig Stanley and your team, fantastic job in getting this done, and one that you can be proud of. Property tax bylaw, this is the yearly juicy one that everybody pays attention to. So overall, 2.9% increase in High River. Be broken down into 1,000 different ways, but the overall is the one that people pay attention to. And we are not in the position right now to be tax heroes during an election year. I can see it and watching it in other municipalities, and you are doing nothing more than a massive disservice to your community, because it's got to be made up at some point in time. If you don't do it this year, you're going to have to make up for it in the next 2 or 3 years, and then whatever. Keep it consistent as we go through this. The economy is one piece that we're cognizant of and everything else. The problem is our operational expenses continue to go up. None of those are coming down. So we have to continue to fund the services and the quality of service for this community. If you knock taxes back, something has to follow in expense side with it. So we're not there. We want to continue the level of service that we're providing to this community and continuing the amenities that High River is responsible for, that the town's responsible for. So that's where we're at. Residential, business, we've got the ratio. When we started this term, it was equal 1-to-1 ratio as to how you paid for your taxes and how your taxes were calculated. We are now at a 1 to 1.225 ratio, residential to commercial. So that's a huge win for this town to start to get that commercial rate up and being a little bit more competitive with our neighbors. We are still very low. The next one, we went through the PRAC committee, Planning and Renewal Advisory Committee. This is the group of individuals that put their hands up right after the flood, wanted to be a part of the rebuild of High River, and wanted to have some say in how this town is designed. Massive influence for the downtown changes, massive influence for the land use bylaw. We are now going into the CP rail land study, and we want these individuals to be part of that. So again, we extended the appointment of Mr. Gerard Mercier, Mr. Bill Fowler, Mr. Duncan Scott, Mr. Hal Knox, Mr. Jim Ross, and Mr. Tony Marshall for the PRAC committee. Their term will end when our term ends, October 13th, 2017. So they'll be working directly with O2 Planning and Design to give us some feedback on how they view the CP land study, which is going to be a very exciting one to work through. So going on to some new business, the public realm policy. So the Active Department with Jody Dawson presented the public realm policy, and this is how certain pieces of public Town of High River owned properties are to be managed. This is another new policy that we haven't really had before, structured properly. So we deferred this one and postponed it to the June meeting only because we want a little bit more information. Caitlin did an excellent job of giving us some high-level bullet points on how the procedures would work exactly, but it's important for council that when we're approving a policy that we see what the procedures are going to look like. I do not want to get into designing the procedures. That's administration's job, and they do a much better job than council ever would. But if we're putting our check mark on it, we just want to be able to see exactly how that's being outlined. So that'll come back into June, and we'll work through that one. So fantastic. Road floodgates. So this is the big one at Center Street everybody's been talking about. We've been fighting for the new Center Street bridge for a number of years now, and the reality is it's not coming anytime soon. So the Alberta government has provided funding for us to replace the Lynham Bridge, Lynham Canal Bridge, which you can see where the trees are cut down on Center Street there, going on the other side of Lynham. The new bridge and the new alignment of the road will happen this summer. Going back to the Center Street Bridge, that bridge isn't getting replaced anytime soon until a flood probably takes it out. But what our priority is to protect this town. We have funding to put in floodgates of some kind at the Center Street to join the basically the Rio Vista Golf Course berm and the town berm that comes in behind George Lane Park. Get rid of the bags, put these floodgates in, get the town protected. That is priority number one for us. I am not willing to sit there and wait 5 to 10 years for the Center Street Bridge and have those bags sitting there. We got the money, let's get us protected. We'll continue to fight for that bridge. It's a bit of a quagmire to get that one done, but we will continue to pound the table for it. So the floodgates will go in. It's going to all start this fall. They will be operational by May 2018 for next season's possible flood events of any kind. So that's where we're at. We got an update from planning and building activities. Lots of information on our website. I'm not going to go through all of them in this video. I've been long enough already. So talk to you later. Bye-bye. Talk to you.